Good morning. Time for today's AM Minnesota program. It's Fair Talk 2018. Yes, we can talk about the fair even though it might be a little wintry outside. John Dvorak fought the elements to get to the studio this morning.
That's an understatement. No. I keep telling myself one of these days we're going to see some green grass there, but it sure don't look very green right now.
And I'm just dreaming of sweating next July at the Rice County Fair.
Well, I think about this time, everybody will take that, but summer will come here one of these days, and hopefully it'll get itself out of the system and all the bad weather will go away, and then this summer we'll have a beautiful summer, right?
Yep, that's my order.
Yeah, that's my order too. I don't always get my order, but
I rarely get mine, but I'm hoping this will be the exception.
I'm hoping that we have a good year and the weather plays in our favor again, and I think the people here in Rice County deserve a nice week of fair-going weather.
And we deserve a really nice Rice County Fair because you and the rest of the board been working on it since we wrapped up the last Rice County Fair.
Yeah, it just seems like it's a never-ending battle, and it never ends. And you're right, Jerry. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now that we're preparing. Looking for all the food vendors and all the commercial vendors to come into the buildings and displays and entertainment and clean coronation and different contests. So there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, getting ready. The livestock committee getting all the livestock shows lined up and making sure that they're on board and scheduling everything, and so it takes a little bit of work. I'm right now working on getting our premium book in order and getting that to print. I'm trying to get that out just a little earlier this year. So
that's a major undertaking when you look at that in and of itself.
Yeah, it is, and that you want to get done with it and you want to get it to print as soon as possible, but there's always these little glitches. Number one is making sure you have all your entertainment so you can get that publicized in there. So, but it's coming together, and here in the next week or two, I'm hoping that we'll be able to go to print with it. And,
are we keeping Tara Langevin busy then with getting everything on the website? Because a lot of that information is also on the website.
It is. It goes right from my desk to her desk, and she gets it on it. I hope Tara's listening because she does a wonderful job with that website. I don't know what we would do without her. She's on top of everything, and she does
she knows how to do all those things.
That's right. and you need to go on our website and just look at it, and her taking care of the Facebook and the Rice County Facebook every day. I don't know if you ever noticed if you go on our website, but every day she has a item on there. This is not only cheeseburger day, or
and then tying something like that into the fair.
Yeah, and then tying something like that into the fair. So thanks for helping me out there. But she's on top of that, and every day she does that, and that takes a lot out of her day just to go on there and do it, and we're much appreciated that she's doing that.
And she has a personality to do things like that too,
Exactly.
And come up with funny things and cute little connections.
Exactly. So.
No. By the way, we have to take a marker break here in about 45 seconds. But I heard from a very reliable source, a rumor, that we have a big announcement about something new going to be at the Rice County Fair. Big new. After the marker break.
That's right. So, I've been working on this for quite a while, and it's finally becoming reality, and we're excited about it. And when we come back from break, we'll talk about it.
He didn't even tell me, so it's kind of news to me too. You don't trust me.
No, it's not that. It's just you don't want to say nothing and get your.
Yeah, you want to make sure everything is in order.
That's right. You want your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed.
Stand by, John.
or equipment repair, now is the time to make your appointment with Metal Services of Blooming Prairie. Whether it's in the shop or in the field, Harvey, Scott, and Seth are ready to get the job done. With the latest fabrication equipment, there are very few parts that can't be fabricated and installed on your equipment. Call Metal Services at 583-2144 or stop in and see them at the repair shop located just 2 blocks east of the Dairy Queen. Metal Services of Blooming Prairie, they keep your farming operation up and running this spring.
Welcome back to today's AM Minnesota program, Fair Talk 2018. John Dvorak is in studio. And John, have you been working on getting my food vendor there, the lamb chops?
I've been trying very hard, Jerry, but gyros, they have lamb meat in them, so
you'll
have to have a gyro when you come there this year.
And I'll just say, charge it to John.
That's right, yeah, go right ahead.
See how far that gets me.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's that time, the food vendors are slowly, my regular ones that come year after year, they're all in place. I've got a few that I had last year that are kind of up in the air if they're coming back. But I always have a waiting list. I mean, there's people that are constantly calling if they can come and be a food vendor at the Rice County Fair. So, I do have people to choose from. So, we'll have food vendors like we have always. My thing is I kind of like holding out till the very end to make sure that I can get something there that...
if someone should call that's something unusual we've never had.
That's right. In fact, just yesterday I got a call from a...
lamb chop on a stick.
That's what I was trying for. I just got to find that vendor. But I had a vendor out of Texas that called me yesterday and wanted to know, it was inquiring about the fair, and I told him to send in an application, but he's more of a southern style of food and Cajun style, and wanted to know if we had alligator at our fair. And so I said, no, we did it. And I said, send in an application and I'll take a look at it. And so I'm kind of interested to see what his application is going to be and what he all serves. So
a few years ago we had alligator at the Rice
just about had Jerry.
It was Kerchunga and the real alligator.
So that
in
was
my younger, more foolish days, was I holding a 10 or 12-foot alligator.
Yeah. So it's starting. Like I said, it's all starting to come together, and by fair time we'll have it all pulled together, and we'll pull out a fair, and before you know it, it'll be over, and we'll be doing it for next year.
Well, what's the big announcement? What's new, or is going to be new, or?
Well, Jerry, what we have every year, the Minnesota Department of Ag, you're eligible for a grant. It's $10,000 some dollars, depends how much is used the year before, and it has to be used solely for agricultural purposes. So you can use it to enhance your barns, bring in different exhibits, and utilize that money as long as it can be tied into agriculture. So for a long time, this is something that I had been thinking about, and so we finally kind of all came together this year. But with that money, I wanted to put something that would really stand out at the fair, and so had a conversation with the Rice County Historical Society, and I said, we have a log cabin there, and we have an old church, and people can enjoy coming and looking at that stuff. I said, what we really need is we really need to put up a barn to replicate what a barn looked like in the early 1900s. And so we spent some time mulling it around, and I put the application in, and lo and behold, they approved our application. So we are going to construct a barn to replicate what a barn looked like in the early 1900s.
So that would be like a hip rip barn, the big tall style, maybe with some tie stalls or stanchions in it, or for horses and cows?
Exactly. And so, that really opens up the opportunity to enhance not only the fair, but also to enhance the agricultural society and the historical society. And there's just so many options that we can do with this project. I mean, you could have one day could be dedicated to one species of animals. You could have a cow in there one day, and when you have that cow in there, hopefully you could have somebody milk it by hand, and you could educate the people, what was the process that these young people had to go through back in the 1900s. You know, today everybody, all they know about is you go to the grocery store and you pull a gallon of milk off the shelf and that's it. But you know, years ago we didn't have refrigerators and we didn't have cooling systems. You know, what did we do with that milk? How did we keep that milk and how did we utilize it? So, you know, different ways to educate people, you know, what really, how did it evolve from yesteryear to this year? So,
and maybe then they'll appreciate the things that we have nowadays a little bit more too.
Exactly. And you know, you could have one day, you could probably have a horse there and you could show people how you shoot horses, you know, so the possibilities are endless. The Agricultural Society is ecstatic about it. You know, Patcha that I know her mind is just spinning on the different types of programs that she can put on there. And I know she'll do a good job with it. Sue Garwood, you know, she's ecstatic about it either and excited to do it. And we're going to hopefully get that built with volunteers. And so the challenge of the barn is kind of using new construction to create it, but the decor in there would be finding from an old barn, and we could decorate it like it was back in the early 1900s. But you know,
the milk cans, the cream separators.
Yes. And you know, the main thing that we want to do is, first and foremost, is we want the building to be safe for people to come in and out of. And so that's why, you know, the initial structure of the building, you know, we'll build with modern trusses and the posts. But you know, hopefully the decor in there we can find some older barns, you know, and get the timbers from there and just show how they, you know, they were cut and spliced and held together, and
the old square nails.
The old square nails, and you know, actually the beams that were held together with the wood pegs. And so I think there's a lot of possibility there. As I know it's something that won't happen overnight. They'll take a lot of planning, but come fair time, you know, we'll have a good start on it, and we'll have it open where we'll be able to have exhibits in there, and then, you know, just year after year, just reform the exhibits from there. And I think, you know, with everybody putting their heads together, we can come up with some very educational projects and you know, some exhibits, and you know, just use it to educate the public, you know.
Another thought too about if you're featuring cows one day and horses the next, if you'd have people in the dress as the farmers wore in the day, and the farm wives and the kids, and have different shifts there to interact with fairgoers, or at least a few hours each day, kind of like Farm America does, you know, with their festivals and things, to try and educate people.
And that's right, Jerry. And like I said, you know, the possibilities are endless, you know, what can all go on there. And it's, I know the Historical Society, I kind of told them, I says, okay, you know, the Fair Board, you know, we can get you the money and let you use this money that the grant is, and you can utilize it for this project. But, you know, you're the ones that are going to have to come up with the projects in there, that how we want to put the displays together, because they know best how, and they have the means and the ways of fighting.
And they know people.
And they know people. Exactly so. And so, but I think it's just a great way to tie the Historical Society in with the Rice County Fair. And so it's going to add a lot to that west end of the fair. And I know that
East end.
I'm sorry, the East End. And,
you were just checking to see if I knew my directions.
That's right. That's right. So it'll help out that East End, and not only that, but you know, the Historical Society will be able to use that throughout the year.
For other things.
For other things, and I know every spring, you know, they have third graders that come in from the schools here in Faribault, and they take them out to the Historical Society. So you know, they'll be able to, you know, have one more display under their belt, you know, that they'll be able to utilize. And I just see it as a win-win situation for everybody. I think it's something that we're going to be able to be proud of, and hopefully it all comes together, and we can get it built. You know, we were kind of hoping that we could start working on it but the frost is still in the ground, the snow is still on the ground, and one of these days it'll all disappear, and that project will take shape. And
yeah, because they can put a shell up awfully fast.
That's
once
right.
you have the plans. It's going to be a little bit more involved trying to decorate the interior, and the planning there as to how you do things. But
That's exactly right. So it all come together. I got a lot of confidence in Sue and her crew over there at the Historical Society. I know they'll come up with some good ideas, and we actually have till the 1st of June in 2019 to get that project done. So it's not like we're really under the gun to get the project done, to get the grant. But my main focus is going to be on is getting the building constructed, being able to get some sort of decor in there by fair time. But
and even if then it's refined more,
that's
and
right.
more
Then it
finished
can be
for the
refined, and you know what? There might be times where this display isn't working. Let's put up a different display. And like I said, it's the possibilities are endless for them, and I'm excited about it. They're excited about it, and I really think that it's going to be something that everybody here in Rice County is going to be proud of.
I think that maybe was part of the key in getting that grant from the Department of Agriculture, was that it will be utilized not just 5-6 days of a fair, but it's there with the Historical Society, and then it can continue educating much of the rest of the year rather than just during the fair.
Exactly so. Unfortunately, it won't be a huge barn, but I think it'll be big enough where we can get our message across, and I'm excited, and I can't wait to see it become reality, because it's something that I thought about for quite a long time. What could we do to bring that part of agriculture to that part of the Historical Society, and luckily when I talked to Sue about it, they came on board, and it's like I said, the possibilities are endless, and I'm really excited, and it's going to be a great thing.
One more building now for the maintenance person on the board to keep track of.
That's right. That's one thing that I don't really see a problem with that, and
I just had another thought of the beautiful Gillen building, and wouldn't it be cool if someone else stepped up and said, hey, I'd like to help out with this in some way, make it a little bit bigger, make it a little nicer, make it a little more versatile. Now would be the time, and maybe it would be the John Dvorak barn at the Rice County.
Let's not go that far. But yeah, if there's anybody that's out there that would see a need and would like to donate to it, you can get a hold of me, or you can get a hold of Sue at the Historical Society, and we'd gladly talk with you. And obviously, if people have some ideas, jot them down, and we can review that stuff too, and what the people really think is in there, and just people realize that not everybody's idea always is acted on, and but we're open to suggestions.
Yep, and recognize a good idea. Yeah, and I like the key too about different days you can feature different things, or maybe it's this way for a few years, and almost, well, let's redo the interior and go to a little bit later segment of agriculture, or earlier, or there's just so many things you can do once you have that base structure there.
That's exactly, and it doesn't always have to be living examples. I mean, you could take what did the dairy industry go through the years and the changes. I mean, you go from the tie stalls, and you go to the stanchions, and you go to the milking by hand, to the milk machine, to the pipeline, to the milking parlors. But that could all be done with pictures too.
Yeah. Or even nowadays with the technology, and even have in there a big TV screen, a display showing Myers or Dubon's robotic milkers now.
That's exactly right, and so that's the one nice thing about this is we don't have to keep the same thing every year in and year out. It can always be changed, and I'm going to really count on the Historical Society to work close hand with me and the fair, and to be able to put on a worthwhile exhibit in there. And like, it doesn't have to be the same thing year after year. You're right, we can change it, and there's different ways to change it, especially with technology, and I'm sure there's different sources where you can get this information and have these exhibits. So it's just a matter of working on them and getting a good plan together, and I really have confidence that that's something that will happen here in years to come.
Is this a coincidence now, or is it just luck? that the children's rides, the kids' rides and everything are right there, that they're going to have the Historical Society and this new barn there to draw them in because you got them all there on the rides. Was that planning or was it a coincidence? Tell the truth now, John.
Well, it was probably a little both, Jerry. When we come up with that idea, how to kind of restructure the fairgrounds and where to set the rides up and all that, that was one of the things that we did talk about, is that East End becoming, for the younger individuals, the children's. And I just think that that's one way that we can enhance it, but yet at the same time, it's going to be for young and old in that Historical Society. So it's just not geared towards the children, but, everybody can enjoy that. And, that's just something that we're just going to have to promote it and help promote it. And, I have big expectations, and I hope that they're met and that it'll be a good thing.
Now, the timetable, we're kind of set to start building the shell. Have the plans been drawn up for the shell? And
plans are, yep, I've got a set of plans. There's an individual that's involved with the Historical Society that's going to be kind of the man in charge, and he's
has some experience in
some
building.
Experience, exactly, and it's going to be up to the Historical Society to get it built. And they've got a plan in place. In fact, this afternoon I'm meeting with them again, and just to kind of define whose role is what and what person is going to be in charge of what. And basically we're just needing the weather to start cooperating with us so the snow can melt and the frost can come out of the ground, so we can get some posts in the ground and start building from there. And like I said, we were kind of hoping to be started already, but the weather threw a curve into us. But I really think that we'll hit a home run by the time the fair is here.
And so are you going to depend a lot on volunteers to build it too then, with this person from the Historical Society that's kind of in charge, or will there be a general contractor that will put it up and then volunteers will do a lot of the inside decorating, or don't we even know yet?
Pretty much it's going to be done with a lot of volunteers. We might have to hire some trades in there to come in there. And
obviously electrical,
right,
and those
right.
kinds of things.
Exactly so. But I think, it's safe to say that a majority of the building is hopefully going to be constructed with volunteer help.
I think we need an old-fashioned outhouse sitting beside it too, rather than...
Whether we do have an old-fashioned one that's kind of off to the side.
I haven't noticed that.
It's off to the side of the church, but it's like I said, there's so many things that would be able to grow off of that, and could either be a permanent display or temporary displays. And this is just the first part of it. This is the seed, and hopefully, like I said, it'll grow from here.
Well, that's exciting. It's great to see new things always happening at the Rice County Fair, as new things are happening at all county fairs. That's what makes each one special.
That's right. And you like to change it up, and you like to add things, and so you don't have that reputation, well, it's the same old thing every year. So that's one of the things.
Some of that is good, though. Those certain vendors that I like, the certain people that I always seem to see, but...
That's exactly right, and you're right there. So you kind of got to find that happy balance, that happy mix of traditionally what's there, and then constantly bringing in new ideas and new things, and you just want to make it so it's enjoyable for the fair, for the fair goers, and you want to make it also so it's educational, and so you want to mix all those things in together so it can be a good experience for everybody.
Can't believe it. We only have about 4 minutes left. Anything else new, changes since the last time we visited about the Fair Talk? The grandstands are all set. Much of the free entertainment is already set. A little tweaking yet?
Little tweaking, yeah. Most of the grandstand entertainment is set. We pretty much have everything coming back that we had last year.
I go on strike if you don't get the NTPA truck and tractor
pull. Yep, they're signed and coming back on Saturday again. So, we're always looking for volunteers to come and help out during the fair, especially in our parking department. We can always use volunteers there. If there's a group out there, you can contact me or you can contact Marcia Simon. We do have ways that we can compensate you, but parking is just one of the major ways that we fund our fair. It's a free fair. It costs to park your car there, and so we want to have a good parking crew in there that can get the cars quickly parked and in an orderly way, so we can have some kind of order there. And so that's why we depend on our volunteers to help us with the parking. So if anybody's out there and is interested in becoming a volunteer and want to help park, like I said, get a hold of me, and we can definitely use all the help we can get.
Do you know offhand, do we have any contestants yet for the Fair Queen contest? I know it's a little early. Usually a lot of the gals don't start thinking about that till later on in May.
Yeah, it's a little early, and so no, I can't tell you for sure if we do or not. But come another month, I'm hoping that information gets out there, and the gals start thinking about it. I encourage, if you're interested in it, get a hold of us at the fairgrounds or get a hold of Kathy Cap, and we'll gladly give you the information. And then I encourage, everybody, if they're interested in running, come out and run. It's a lot of fun, and it's a good experience, and
it's an excuse to be at the fair.
And it's a good excuse to be at the fair. That's right.
And the other thing, I don't think the deadline has passed yet to get a hold of Art Mattson for the Rice County Agriculture Hall of Fame.
That's exactly right. We have that, and that's always a fun.
That's on the website too, I think.
That's always a fun morning. That Wednesday morning is always fun. It's great to see farmers and retired farmers and people that are involved in agriculture come out to that breakfast, and it's a good time, and I think we put on a pretty good program, and I encourage people to keep coming. It's part of the fair.
And as always, because Terry is doing her job, check back on the Rice County Fair website or Facebook, and you'll be in tune to everything that's going on. She might even have a picture of the plans for the new barn on the website. Hint, hint, hint.
I'm sure that'll all be on there.
Or maybe I know the right person in position of power and influence will let me put it on our website.
That's exactly right.
Only about 45 seconds left, John. Now we're going to be doing this about once a month, and then a couple times in May, and then all at once a week.
That's right, till fair. And then, like I said, we do all this planning, and boom, the fair comes and it's gone, and we start this all over again.
But it's always sad when you go there. We go Monday morning tearing everything down. Everything is gone, and you remember just the day before how nice everything looked. But what keeps you going is there's always next year.
That's exactly right. That's always right.
Thanks, John. Always enjoy talking with you, and
congratulations.
Thank you for everything you and the rest of the Fair Board do to put on a great show.
Well, and thank you, Jerry.